Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 15 of What If Naruto Was a Godly Mage. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Unlocked a Strange Power over on Anime King 2. And later on I'm gonna be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Got His Memory Sealed Away. So stay tuned for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And also, I'm gonna be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Became the God of Wind. So stay tuned for that as well guys. And I do hope that you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about all of you. So without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Jiraiya came back late, as Naruto told him to show him an awesome jutsu to make up for it. So Jiraiya decided to show Naruto the Rasengan. It will take him a long while to learn it, he's just showing it right now. As Naruto told him to stay still, Naruto's hands then became enveloped in a glow as it went over Jiraiya's Rasengan. Jiraiya remembered this from when they first found him and Snally was scanning him, and his hands glow just like this, and he absorbed the technique from Snally. Naruto did the same thing, but his Rasengan was a darker color and vile, and it was much more powerful as he threw it straight in the forest. He was able to release it in a burst. The thing destroyed a huge chunk of the forest, surprising Jiraiya. As Jiraiya then decided to check about Naruto's chakra natures, as the paper then rip and tear and suck and crackle. Jiraiya was shocked as he had all of them, and then the paper burst into black smoke, the remaining pieces, and the angel was stuck in Naruto's hand. Jiraiya didn't understand what the hell that was, as him and Naruto sparred for the rest of the day. Naruto had passed out after eating some food, as the both of them catch fish. Jiraiya then went to check on the seal, but then he touched it. The moment he did, something off happened. He had a strange vision of a giant hand coming towards him. Jiraiya didn't know why, but he felt utter fear as the thing was lashing out to grab him. But he was snapped out of it as he saw that Naruto was still sleeping. He reported all of this back to Hiruzen, as they didn't know if they want to stop Naruto from partaking in the exam, because something is seriously off. But Hiruzen still decided to make Naruto go through with it. As the time finally came, Hinata was there. She was still in a bit of bandage after her attack with Neji, but she wasn't on bed rest anymore, so she could walk around and she was fine. As the matches went off, as Sasuke wasn't here yet, until the third match where Naruto arrived down in the arena with Neji. The both of them started to talk as Naruto told him that he knew all about the bird cage seal, as Neji told him that he knew nothing despite knowing that he don't understand anything. Naruto let loose. Neji thought that he stood a chance as everyone watched as the Hyuga prodigy was completely brutalized in the field. Naruto broke Neji a new one, beating the absolute crap out of him, as everyone was watching a gruesome fight. But Neji wouldn't give up as he said that fate would let him win. Naruto then tied up Neji with his chains as a large plant came from the ground and started to gather up a mass amount of power ready to incinerate Neji. But Proctor came down there and stopped the match. The match was over as he told Naruto if he didn't give up, he would be disqualified, and this would be punishment for killing Nakanoha Ninja. But Naruto was still hell-bent on killing Neji until Jiraiya, as Hinata and Anko called out to him, told him to stop. But suddenly, Orochimaru used this as a distraction as he let off the invasion. Naruto fired off the massive blast on the plant, incinerated one of the three-headed snakes that broke into the village. As Sasuke and Kakashi then arrived, after understanding what was going on, Kakashi sprang into action. Gaara and his siblings were about to leave the village to bring Gaara in the forest for him to transform. As Sasuke went after them, Kakashi then came down and told Naruto to stop them. He knew that Naruto had the power to do so. As Naruto told Hinata to go back as a man named Kyo came her caretaker as he took her away. Keiyo was going along with Hinata, bringing her back to the compound where Hayashi demanded that she return to. But that wasn't until Keiyo was attacked. He ended up killing all the ninjas who attacked him. But one of them stabbed their own friend, the explosive kunai, with a note on it as Keiyo was thrown back violently. Hinata tried her best as she struck down multiple of them, even severing the tendons in their legs so they couldn't walk at the moment. As several of them then threw kunais towards her as Keiyo jumped in the way. Keiyo took all of the strikes and died right in front of her. As Hinata was then attacked by another wave. She couldn't fend them off as she was stabbed right through the back. As Naruto was going to the forest, he felt like something was off, but he just couldn't understand what. So yeah guys, that was basically that's where I left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we begin this new episode? We begin this episode outside the elemental nations. In a dark place seemed like it was filled with a lot of rage and anger just by the setting of the place. As there was a massive, caved out volcano over to the side, but there was no lava inside. The place was dark and looked like it had been burned over and over again, as the ground was black. There was a bright flash of light as someone appeared wearing a hood as a person dropped down to one knee. A chuckle could be heard. Using that ability to get here so much time, it's really taking a toll on you. Yes it is. A female voice came from under the hood, but the person did not remove it as they got to their feet. I can't wait any longer. Things are getting worse. He's finding everything that he needs to be complete. He will get your power. As she looked over towards the same creature that tried to tear into the elemental nations. You couldn't see the full mass of the creature right here because it was too large. Underground there was a large cave out area. This remote dimension that she was in was humongous, where the creature could stay. The thing let out a growl of anger and rage. I will not be used as a puppet, he said. Well then, tell me that you'll find a way to get me there. As you know, I don't have the same power that that woman had. So, this is a one-way trip for me to give you. I tried to breach into that world but still, I couldn't get through. It was only him that can bring me through it. So he will have to be the one to send you back here and return with you. And if you're too late, there's nothing I can do to stop him from taking my power. And if that happens, everything is going to go to hell. I already know that, the girl said. So did you find a way to get me there? I did, but as I said, it's a one-way trip. So if you fail to bring him back, if you fail to get to him, I'm afraid there will be no home that you'll be coming back to that you once knew. The girl sighed, I know. After I explained to him though, I'm sure that he will come back here to help. After all, once he finds out who I am, and what he really is, he will definitely come back. I'm counting on you, girl, because this is important to my survival as well. And I will not be used. Well, if I don't make it back, you will be used, and there's nothing you can do about it, she said. The monster glared at her. But it doesn't matter because I will bring him back. But you know when I do that, he will get your power as well. That is natural. I was created to be a power supply for him. But while sharing my power with him, my existence will not be erased. Like if him, the monster then turned his head. If that one managed to contain my power inside his body, I will be completely erased. So you're just looking out for your own well-being, the girl said. Of course I am. What else should I look out for? Fine, so how are you gonna get me there? As I said, because of that woman, her special ability, I was unable to completely replicate what she did. But still, I found a way. But this will be taxing on your power. When you arrive there, you won't be at full strength. You'll be weakened. And I don't know exactly where you will land. So how am I going to find him? Well, I have information. When I was coming through the vortex, I saw where the kid was. He was in a forest area. There was a lot of trees. The girl's sweat dropped. Really? That's all you have to say, a lot of trees? No, that's not all. It seems like he has a book with him. What? You saw it, the girl said. Yes. The book was also trying to help him to regain his sense of mind when we first met, because my power was too great for him to get all at once. And the book was trying to help him. So he's there, the girl said. After all these years, I knew that she did something with him. And to think that she gave it to him. The girl smiled under her hood. Well, how are you going to get me back there? Well, I don't know exactly where you're going to land. And you're going to be weak. But I heard his name was Naruto. That is what they named him. Naruto? That's a strange name, she said. But never mind. But we have to do this now. We can't afford for him, as she turned her head, to get the completion of the seal. Because if he does, you're gone. And all of this, it's over. Yes, that is right. Do not feel, girl. And remember, he has to be the one to open the wormhole to bring you back. The girl then started to shake violently as a massive hand ripped through the earth. The thing was large, showing the true might of the beast and how large he was. He then ripped out the girl in his other hand. And still, he was not on his 2 feet. Most of his body was underground. You could just see his giant, large head, which was covered by a lot of darkness. You couldn't see his facial expression or how he really looked, although you could see the hands with the long claws on them. He placed both hands right in front of the girl. To her, it looked like a massive pathway because he was that large. His hands then started to glow with a dark energy before he let out a mighty roar that shook the entire dimension that they were in. Suddenly, a rift started to rip open right in front of them. The girl watched as she waited. The rift then tear open, showing something else on the other side. It was just pure white. She squinted her eyes. Go now, girl. I can only sustain this for so long, he said. She stepped forward. Do not fail me, he said. I won't, she said, a determined look on her face as she jumped through the rift. The rift then closed behind her as the monster released a breath. What he just did was something that he wasn't supposed to use. That is why it was so hard for him. As he looked where the girl had just jumped through the rift. Don't fail, you stupid girl, he thought. Back at the elemental nations, at the border of the land of frost, 2 ladies seemed to be in their mid-40s were walking, with baskets in their hands, with some herbs inside the basket. One of them with short brown hair turned to the other one with long black hair. So, is he alright now, she asked. Yes. After I gave him the herbs and applied them to the wounds, everything went along nicely. He's just resting. He should be up on his feet in a couple of days. So you don't have to worry. The woman in the short brown hair released a sigh. Thank God, she said. Suddenly, the both of them felt the ground shaking as he looked around. What the hell? As the both of them had to dress back, they were just civilians. The ground shook as they fell over. A rift then ripped open right in front of them, making the both of their eyes went wide. Suddenly, someone then stepped through, but at the moment the person did, the person cried out in pain. The hood was still on her head, the girl, as she collapsed down to the ground. Damn it, she cursed. She then looked up, the 2 women looking down at her. I never knew it would take so much, she said. As she collapsed right on her face, the 2 women looked at each other, like to say what the hell just happened. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Naruto came to an abrupt stop. Something was off. He's been feeling this way ever since he left Hinata and told her to go ahead. As he was out in the forest chasing after Sasuke. But that was not the problem now. As he turned his head away from the village, he sensed something. A strange pulse a second ago. Something that feels so familiar to him. Kid, why did you stop? You're wasting time, said Yamato. Yeah, right, said Naruto. As he dashed off the tree to make it in time so Sasuke wouldn't get himself killed. As he was close enough, he saw a massive fireball came down and destroy a massive tree in the forest. Someone jumped away before the fireball could hit them though. As Naruto saw it was a puppet, he narrowed his eyes toward the chakra thread and could see that it was attached to Kankuro. Yes, that was his name. He was one of the siblings, Temari's brother, and Gaara as well. So why was he, as Naruto saw Sasuke jump down? Sasuke started dodge strikes on Puppet. They must be holding him off to buy time. Kyubey, how strong would you say that Shikaku is, Naruto asked. Well, he is the weakest of us all, she said. Do you think I can take him, Naruto asked. Well, given the certain things that you can do, that are different from chakra, I suppose you should be able to, she said. But, still, it will be best for you to stop him before he resorts to that form. And not to mention, he doesn't care about human life. He actually hates human. So he might perform a Bichu bomb. You remember what I showed you? Yeah, said Naruto, that sweat drop. That would be dangerous if he fire off one of those to the village. Yes, many people will die. Well then, I suppose I can't waste time, said Naruto as he showed off towards Kankuro. Meanwhile, inside the seal, why did you block us off? Asked Yamato, as he looked towards the Kyubey. He then saw she was nervous as hell. She was sweating. What's wrong? Said Yamato. I think Hinata is dead. Yamato stepped back in shock. Couldn't believe what he was hearing. Flashes started going through his mind. Flashes of Naruto burning the entire world. Yamato! The Kyubey shouted at him. Oh, what? Sorry about that, he said. How do you know that, he asked. Well, ever since, Naruto has been gaining these new powers. It feels like the seal has been weakening a lot. I'm able to sense outside. A far distance, actually. I was sensing Hinata chakra the entire time. But then suddenly, it just completely vanished. Are you sure that she's not out of range? No. She was with a Hyuga as well. Another one. Remember? Yeah, that guy. Said his name was Kyo. His is gone as well. Yamato stepped back as he started to move around, putting his hand in his head. This is bad. This is really bad, he said, as he looked around in fear. He then sat down, thinking about the possibilities of what they could do. The Kyubey came over as she sat down beside him. I know it's bad, she said. If he finds out, he's gonna lose it. And there won't be anything we can do to calm him down. This time, I'm afraid that he's gonna lose it completely. This is not like she's getting hurt. If she's really dead, she's gone. As Yamato didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to react in this situation. Naruto was controlling his anger and his rage so far. And no knew the enemy is, he's going after Gaara. But to find out that Hinata is dead, he would literally burn everything in sight. Kill everyone, it doesn't matter who it is. We need to tell him, said Yamato. Are you crazy? We can't do that. But if we don't, and if he finds out, I just don't know what to do, said Kyubey. She got to her feet. She walked over towards the pond, looking into the water. If we don't tell him, he won't know that we know, but that's not what I'm worried about. He's gonna lose it. How can we tell him that Hinata is dead? His best friend. The person that he cares about so much in this world. Except for Uncle. She is the closest person to him. That old man is good, but neither of them come close to him when it comes to him loving the both of them. What are we gonna do? Yamato stood there. I have no idea, he said. I never thought that something like this might happen. Damn it, he says, he drives his fist in the earth, destroying it. You, don't go and lose it right now. I need you to have a level head. I do, said Yamato. When did this happen, he asked. Few minutes ago. I was sensing her, and everything was normal. I took my sensory ability off her for just a second, because I felt something strange. It was just like Naruto. A strange power, but it didn't vanish. I felt that also, said Yamato. But when I started to sense for her energy again, it was completely gone. Yamato sat down, as he just didn't know what to think. Meanwhile, Sasuke was dodging projectile from Karasu as the puppet came at him. There's no way you're passing me and getting to Gaara, said Kankuro. Suddenly, the drone erupted around his puppet as a massive hand emerged and grabbed it, to Kankuro's surprise, and squashed it. Kankuro was then grabbed around the waist by a whip as he looked down to see a purple whip wrapped around him. He looked over as Naruto yanked Kankuro towards him. Kankuro pulled back his fist to punch Naruto right in the face, but Naruto twisted his body around, swinging Kankuro right into a tree. The tree then extended its branch and wrapped around Kankuro, holding on to him tight, before Naruto flicked his finger, as a wind bullet fired right off it, knocking Kankuro right in the head, knocking him out. What the hell, dope? I had that covered, said Sasuke. As Naruto sighed, you're a real pain in the ass most of the time. But this is not the time to argue. We need to stop Gaara. What do you thought I was doing? Said Sasuke. As Naruto sighed, just come on, we can't afford for him to transform. Transform? Said Sasuke confused. Just come on, said Naruto as he headed off with Sasuke. Meanwhile, as Kiba was making his way through the village, helping civilians here and there, he then caught whiff of blood. As he made his way to go and check it out cautiously, whiff, look at Akamaru beside him. As he picked up Akamaru and placed him on his head, as he jumped away from a squad of some shinobis that were going around. Hiding off, he made his way as he went towards the blood to check it out. His heart completely stopped when he saw the sight. Hinata was on the ground, unmoving, unresponsive, as her back was face up and she was lying on her chest. Blood was leaking from her, and there was a lot of it. Kiba wasted no time as he sprinted over. Akamaru started to pout, as a sad sound was coming from him. He quickly turned Hinata over. Hinata! Hinata! He shouted! But he got nothing. He heard nothing at all. As tears started to pool from his eye like a river. As he started to cry. As nothing. He got nothing from her. He placed his ears on her heart. He checked her pulse. There was nothing at all. Suddenly, he heard several thuds behind him as he turned to see several sound ninjas. Ah, what do we have here? One of them said. Oh, look there. It looked like he's sad. Seems like he's lost his girl or something. Huh. She shouldn't have been so weak if she didn't want to die. Well, the bitch wasn't that weak, said a voice, as they turned to see someone else. Another sound ninja with blood on him. I was the one that actually took her down, he said with his blade, with a smirk on his face. The man had an X on his cheek, as he had short, grey hair, despite being in his mid-20s, as he had a smirk on his face. Kenji, you were the one that killed this one? Yeah, she ended up taking note of you of my man, said Kenji, with a smirk on his face. The man then heard a growl. You bastard, Kiba said, as he placed down Akamaru. Kiba looked over at them. Getsuga, he said without hesitation as he spun towards the man in a ferocious spin. The man sidestepped as Kiba twisted in mid-air and spun towards the man once again. But the man jumped away as Kiba destroyed the ground, bursting out of the other side. Several of them threw kunais towards Kiba, but he spun same way, knocking the kunais away. 3 of them went through hand signs. Ninja art, deafening screamed in his head as they released a pulse that connected badly to Kiba's ear. Kiba and Akamaru stopped as they winced out in pain and collapsed on the ground, the sonic pulse deafening their ears as they cried and collapsed down. As Kiba looked over at Hinata, the man named Kenji walked over. Huh, all that for this little bitch here, he said, as he placed his foot on top of Hinata. Get off of her, you bastard, Kiba shouted. The man simply smirked as he raised his blade towards Kiba. I'll finish this one. It's a good fitting after all, to make him die right beside his girlfriend, said Kenji. Suddenly, there was a massive creature that rised up on the horizon in the woods. As everyone stopped and turned, as Kiba looked back as well. What the hell? As there was a massive Shikaku that towered over the forest. A couple minutes earlier, Naruto and Sasuke were dashing as fast as they could, as they made their way to see Gaara and Temari. Gaara stopped. Gaara, what are you doing? We need to let go of me, Gaara said. He slapped her away as she crashed in a tree. Huh, seemed like this guy is completely losing it, said Naruto. It doesn't matter, Sasuke said. You, stay out of this, he's my fight. I'll finish him. So, you want a piece of me, huh, Uchiha, said Gaara. As Naruto noticed, he started to change. His face, half his face was demonic, while one of his arms were claws of the sand. Wait, you idiot, Naruto said. Sasuke jumped forward. Gaara swung the claw hand straight towards him. as Sasuke flipped over it just in time. With a smirk, he drive a foot down on top of Gaara's shoulder, but sand exploded from Gaara's shoulder, wrapping around Sasuke's leg. Sasuke substituted a log as he reappeared behind Gaara and kicked him in the back, right into a tree. Sasuke then went through several hand signs, fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu, he said, as he fired out several mini fireballs from his mouth that crashed into Gaara. Gaara exploded out of the ground, his body changing even more, his claws going straight towards Sasuke. Sasuke smirked as he jumped away, making Gaara crash into the tree. Sasuke's eyes had changed as he now had his two totem Sharingan activated in both eyes. As he landed, "Stay out of this," he says. He saw Naruto moving. "I told you I'll be the one to finish this." Sasuke went through hand sign, "And I'll finish it quickly as possible. You're just another foe in my way to take down." Gaara didn't say anything, as he just smirked, his face changing even more. Sasuke's hand started cackling with lightning as he leaped off the tree and shot towards Gaara. Wait, isn't that Naruto? As he saw Sasuke using Shidori, Sasuke said, as he smashed right into Gaara's arm, ripping into it with a large tear, going deep down into the sand. Sasuke had to jump away though as several sand spikes burst from Gaara's body. As Sasuke landed, "Damn it," Sasuke says, he pulled out several kunais and threw them at Gaara. Gaara swatted them away, but what he did not notice was the explosive attack towards them. Boom! The entire area around him exploded. Gaara shot out of his body, merging even more with the demon. His two legs were the only thing not affected, and there was a giant sand tail behind him now. He rushed towards Sasuke with tremendous speed. Sasuke jumped back as Gaara teared through the branch that he was on. As Sasuke was forced to flee now, Gaara was coming at him like a wild animal. Sasuke spun around as he pulled a kunai and drive it right down in Gaara's arm. But Gaara smacked him in his other arm as Sasuke break through a tree as he was sent sailing. Gaara then took in a deep breath before firing off several sand bullets. Sasuke saw them incoming as he got to his feet, but his body wasn't fast enough to move, keeping up with his eyes. As one of them struck him in the leg, he winced out in pain. Gaara was upon him in seconds, but Sasuke rolled up the way as Gaara crushed the ground underneath him. "You are not the one to prove my existence, so just stand still and die already," Gaara screamed as he attacked Sasuke with more vigorous and rage. Sasuke jumped to as he charged another Shidori. "One more," he said. "This time I'll end him." As he leaped forward and Gaara leaped forward as well. "Shidori," he said, as the two of them passed by each other. The entire right side of the sand was ripped off of Gaara. Sasuke dropped to the ground in pain as a large gash was on his side. Gaara then turned a sick, twisted smile on his face as the sand started to gather up back again as he launched towards Sasuke, destroying the tree. Sasuke jumped off, but Gaara met him in mid-air and drive a fist into his stomach, driving Sasuke deep in the ground. Gaara then came down to stomp on his face, but Naruto appeared and drive his fist into Gaara's face, knocking Gaara to the side. Gaara broke through a tree branch. As Naruto then landed, as he looked down at Sasuke, "You always act like you don't need help. So tell me, can you defeat that guy on your own now? As you can see, you dumbass, he's getting more powerful as you two fight. And you're getting weaker because you used up all of your chakras," said Naruto. Sasuke grunted as he got to his feet, spitting out blood. "I don't need your help," he said. "This is not time for your arrogance bullshit, Uchiha. This is serious," said Naruto. "Uzumaki!" Gaara screamed as he exploded out of the rubbles. You're the one. Ever since that day, I felt something new. Was it fear? Was it immense rage? Something more than that? I don't know. But you're the one. You're the one that's gonna prove my existence. And Mother, she also sees you as a threat, so she wants you dead. So, I'm going to fulfill her wish and kill you today." He then looked over at Sasuke. "If you interfere once again, Uchiha, you will die." As Naruto looked towards Sasuke, "He's right. Stay out of this." Sasuke grunted in anger. Who the hell does Naruto think he is? He can also fight. Naruto leaped off the ground before Sasuke could say anything though. Naruto leaped off the ground and going towards Gaara. Gaara fired off several sand bullets. A mirror appeared in front of Naruto's hand, and all of them went inside before Naruto created another mirror in his left hand. As the sand bullets blasted out of it, connected into Gaara's side, knocking him away. Naruto came out of mid-air and smashed down into Gaara. Gaara smiled, sand exploded from his body, smashing into Naruto. as he shot off the ground. "You're mine, Uzumaki," says. He pulled back his claw hand and drive it down. To Gaara's surprise, Naruto grabbed it. Yes, Naruto grabbed Gaara mid-air and twisted him over his shoulder as he thrust Gaara down towards the ground. Gaara hit the ground and boom! Naruto held up his hand as 3 purple balls formed, all of them humming with power before they split into severals. They smashed into Gaara like bullets, burying his body deep underground. As Naruto landed on the ground and slammed his hand down, 2 massive earth fists emerged, with chains wrapped around them before they start to pummel Gaara's body straight onto the ground. Another massive earth fist then exploded right underneath Gaara, sending him straight up into the air. As Naruto held out both of his hands, 3 magic circles formed around Gaara. "Now it's over," said Naruto as he snapped his finger. Several fireballs shoot from one of them, a pale lightning bursts from the other, and a massive wind gust erupts from the other one. The 3 attacks colliding into Gaara with so much force his body was sent sailing. He smashed through several trees, hitting deep down into the ground. Sasuke could only watch in shock. What he was unable to do, Naruto only did in minutes. How was he so stronger than him? Meanwhile, Gaara didn't understand what just happened. He was lying broken in the forest. He did not understand. How did he lose so quickly? Never has he been defeated so quickly before. As he looked over, turning his head, as Naruto landed, a scowl came on Gaara's face. No, you will not take my existence. I will prove it today," Gaara screamed. Sand exploded everywhere, forcing her to jump away as the sand destroyed the trees, going tall above them, until it formed the massive body of Shikaku. "Oh shit," said Naruto as he looked up. "Hey, Kyuubi," Naruto said. But he didn't hear anything. "Where the hell are they?" "Yamato," he called out. But he didn't hear any of them. They've been really quiet since he started the fight. Well, he supposed he can take down this, right? As Sasuke jumped back. "What the hell is that thing?" "That is what I was warning you about," said Naruto. "Now, we're gonna have to bring that down." Gaara then emerged from the forehead of the beast. "Finally, Uzumaki," screamed. "I will allow Mother to deal with you. She was the one that wanted to take you down in the first place. So, I'm gonna let her have your blood." Gaara went to hand sign. "Possum jutsu," he said, as his body went limp. Suddenly, a golden eye opened, with a black shuriken inside. "Yes!" Shikaku screamed out. "I'm free! After all these years, I'm free once again," he said, as he looked on a sick, twisted smile on his face. "And look, there's an entire village over there for me to destroy." Naruto hopped as he landed on the tallest tree. "I'm sorry, but I can't tell you to go over there." Shikaku narrowed his eyes. "It's you," he said. "You know me?" Naruto asked. "Yes." "And ever since I saw you, I wanted to kill you. But now you're different from before. You seem much more calmer. And that makes you much weaker." "Holding back, are you?" said Shikaku. Well then, he took in a deep breath before striking his stomach. Naruto watched as several wind bullets ripped through the trees coming towards him. Naruto smashed his hand on the ground as several massive earth golem came from the ground. As they took the wind attacks head on, but their body were blown to pieces. As Naruto flipped away and landed distant safely, sand then rose up. "Sand shuriken," said Shikaku as he fired off several sand shuriken. Naruto saw that Sasuke was nearby. As he rushed over, he grabbed onto Sasuke's shirt. "What the hell are you doing, dope?" Sasuke screamed as Naruto spun and threw Sasuke straight up in the air. "Saving your life, jackass," said Naruto, as all of the sand shurikens came towards Naruto. Several chains then burst from the ground. Great chains as he started to spin, creating a makeshift shield right in front of Naruto, as it was small enough to protect him. As they collided with the sand shuriken, the rest of the air was completely torn apart. As Shikaku just chuckled. "Oh, so you have some fight in you, huh? Well, it doesn't matter," he said. "Let's see you stand up to me now." As he stomped on the ground, the sand started to raise up until a massive sand spear was formed. Naruto held out his hand wide as a massive ice spear formed. As he pulled back and thrust it, as Shikaku thrust the sand spear, the both of them collided with a boom. The place was filled with ice particles and sand raining down. Shikaku then looked up as he saw several massive fireballs coming down towards him. He quickly raised his hand up, but the fireballs then turned white, pure white, as he struck the sand shield. The thing turned to ice at the same moment. Naruto landed on the ground as he was moving as fast as he could. He snapped his eyes open as he underwent Sage Mode. He leaped forward as he landed right behind Shikaku's tail. Shikaku saw him and brought down his tail to crush Naruto under it. But then he felt something was off. Before his body was lifted up off the ground, as Naruto released a primal scream and threw Shikaku deep in the forest with his body enhanced by Sage Mode. Shikaku crashed a distance away as Naruto smashed his fist into the ground, creating a hole, before placing his two arms over it. A tree started to form. The tree started to get larger and larger and larger until Naruto was standing on top of it. The thing started to pull the power from the air, sucking up mana as Naruto placed his hand on it, pouring a large portion of mana into it. This bomb got larger. Shikaku saw what was happening as he opened his mouth. He started to gather its chakra together until a small ball was formed. As Naruto started to gather his power as well, a ball of destruction was formed from the mouth of a tree. Shikaku fired off the massive tail beast bomb as Naruto fired off his attack as well. The two things collided with so much force. Windows in the hidden leaf was broken. The entire place boomed. To Shikaku's surprise, his power started to be overwhelmed. His eyes went wide when the thing backfired on him. The entire area exploded as the two of them imploded, nearing Shikaku. Meanwhile, in Konoha in the barrier, the third Hokage, he was sweating as he looked over the massive explosion a minute ago. He knew he had to end this now, as he could see that Naruto had that angle. But still, with him gone, he doesn't know what the future awaits for Naruto, with that power he has inside of him that can only be controlled by his emotions. But he knew that he had to end this quickly. As he looked over the first and second Hokage, he had to, as he had to make his plan right now. He looked at Orochimaru as he smiled. Seems like you've gone senile, old man, smiling, knowing that you're going to die. Are you okay? Orochimaru asks. I leave. Everyone else is up to you, because I doubt I will be able to kill you now. You weren't able to kill me in the first place, said Orochimaru. I'm sorry I failed you, because I wasn't strong enough to end your life back then, before you went down this dark path. I don't know when you take a wrong turn, but I'm sorry I failed you. Orochimaru simply chuckled. Yes, let it all out. You're going to be dead soon, so you might as well say everything before you regret anything. As Sarutobi just sighed, Naruto-kun, he thought. Don't go overboard. I had to do this. I had to protect the village, he thought to himself. He then looked back at the first and second, as Orochimaru sent them after him. The man then rushed forward to face them in combat for the last time, before he risked his own life to seal away their souls. Meanwhile, Shikaku was burned badly several places all over. His body was a wreck. How? How was this possible? Despite him having one tail, he was still a Biju. How was this boy able to defeat him? This was just not right. This was not right. This couldn't be happening. He cursed and he swore to himself. Meanwhile, that was going on, outside the elemental nations, to the real place where Naruto was from, there was a massive kingdom, a massive castle. As we dive inside, a man was sitting on a throne, with a cocky smirk on his face, his head resting on his palm. Suddenly, someone burst inside of the chambers. Sir, we don't know how it's possible, but we sense a residual energy for world jump. The man instantly turned his eyes towards the man that rushed inside. The man gulped in fear that was bowing to his master. Why do you come here spewing nonsense? That woman is no longer with us. She was the only one left that can do it. So, what the hell are you talking about? He said. I don't know, sir, but it was just felt by the others. And what about you? Did you feel it as well? Yes, sir. Are you willing to risk your life on that? Saying that you didn't feel something wrong or a mistake? No, I'm positive, sir. The man then got out of his throne as he walked towards the window. This can't be, he thought to himself. No, this can't be. Not when I'm so close. This won't happen, he thought to himself. You, come with me, he said as he walked out of the room rather quickly. Back at the elemental nations, as a woman with a short brown hair was sitting down, someone was on a bed right in front of her. The other woman had went to her home. She decided to take in this girl. They didn't know where she come from, she just appeared. It could be some strange ninjutsu. But she looked exhausted and her body looked worn, like she was tired and weak. So she decided to bring her in her home. Despite this being elemental nations, there were still a few good people in this world. She lived alone. She had a son, but he no longer lives here. And she didn't have any grandkids. So she was on her own, in this small village with her friends. She didn't really have that much to do. She was really curious who was this girl and where did she exactly come from. She had no idea. As she reached for the cloth, the girl seemed to be sweating a lot. As she placed a cool cloth right on the girl's forehead, the girl took in a deep breath and then released. Still, she was fast asleep. Her body seemed really exhausted just by the way she looked, like she has been through a lot. The woman then reached up. The woman's name was Kiyomi. As she looked over, the girl was wearing a necklace, a locket. She reached over, she was about to touch the locket when the girl had sprung up and grabbed her hand. Kiyomi was surprised as she tried to move back, but the girl held onto her hand tight. Who the hell are you? The girl said. Well, my name is Kiyomi. I found you just appeared out of nowhere. And I didn't want to leave you out there alone because you'll either be taken by some bad people or die. So I brought you to my house. The girl tried to pick herself up, but she collapsed as Kiyomi caught her. Easy there. You seem like you've been through a lot. I have to find him, the girl said. Have to find who? Naruto. Naruto? Who's that? I don't... She collapsed down. Before Kiyomi could say anything, Kiyomi was still holding on to her. As she passed out once again, Kiyomi placed her back on the bed. She still seemed to be in a tired state. Kiyomi had to get someone to check on her, which will be here soon enough. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Come in, said Kiyomi. As a woman came in, seemed to be in her late 30s. Aiza, said Kiyomi. Now Kiyomi, what did I hear that you found a girl just wandering around? Well, not really wandering around, said Kiyomi. She just appeared out of nowhere. I was wondering if you can check up on her. Well, I did bring my medical kit. Now let's see. As the woman went over, she used to be in the arts of medical ninjutsu. She still used it in her small community to help who she can, but she wasn't that advanced or skilled. As she started to scan the girl with what she knew in medical ninjutsu, she found the girl rather exhausted. Yes, she could feel it. She was exhausted, extremely tired. But the strange thing was, what's wrong with Kiyomi? I feel no chakra in her. Well, looks like she has been fighting Kiyomi. No, you don't understand. There's nothing at all. Even us civilians, everyone has chakra inside of them. But this girl, she has none at all. Where exactly did you find her, Kiyomi? As I said, she just appeared out of nowhere. The woman looked at the girl in the bed before she noticed the locket. What's this? As the locket was open and she saw a photo inside. It was of a baby on one of them. A baby boy with blonde hair. From what the woman could see, he looked very young, like he was only born a couple days ago. And the other one was a woman. She was smiling. She had long flowing blonde hair. She had beautiful blue eyes, with a beautiful face, a heart-shaped face, with a brighter shade of skin color, just like this girl right here. It seems these are her family or something. They look alike. As Kiyomi stepped over, yes they do. The girl that was lying on the bed, she had short, blonde hair that reached down to her neck. Unlike her mother, or whoever that baby is, she didn't have bright blue eyes. Her eyes were green, probably from her father or something, different side. From what they could tell, she looked to be in her teens, very young teens, at least 13, 14, as they really wonder who was this girl, and where did she come from. Back at the elemental nations, a massive earth fist smashed right into Shikaku, tipping him once again before the fist buries Shikaku straight down into the ground. Naruto-kun, damn it, where have you guys been? Naruto shouted. How the hell do I get this guy to back down? Sorry about that, we were just discussing something. Discussing what? You know what, never mind. This guy, every time I hit him, his hand would reform. He's getting damage, I know that, and he seemed to be getting a lot slower. But still, as you told me that Bijus are just made out of chakra, how will I put him down, said Naruto? Well, it seems like he hasn't fully taken over his host. So all you have to do is wake the kid on his forehead up. That easy, said Naruto. Yes, said the Kyuubi. Hey, you okay? Naruto asks. What do you mean, she asks? Your voice. Sounds like something's on your mind. You don't have time to worry about that now. Focus on what you're doing. Yeah, said Naruto. As he rushed forward, Shikaku picked himself up as he fired off several moving bullets towards Naruto. Naruto leaped straight up in the air. Advanced in stage mode, he was jumping higher than before. Naruto held up his hand as a massive, giant hammer formed his hand. It was like a war hammer, as he held on to a long grip before bringing it down right on Shikaku. The thing struck right down into Shikaku's chest, smashing his body down into the ground. The hammer then exploded into black smoke, as Naruto turned into a giant spear before throwing it with all of his might. It pierced right through Shikaku's chest. Naruto landed right in the spear and dived down. Several spikes came from Shikaku's body, trying to impale Naruto as he flipped over all of them. He held out his hand. As he placed it behind him, a massive Rasengan formed as he blasted off with it, using the momentum of the Rasengan to seem like he was flying. He made his way as several spikes came from Shikaku, trying to stop him from touching to Gaara, as a dome of sand even protected Gaara. But Naruto took in a deep breath, as he then released. A massive red flame spewed from his mouth, as everything was caught up in it. Once he was done, the entire thing was glass. He smashed his fist, wake the hell up, he said, breaking through it and smashing it right in Gaara's face. Gaara's eyes snapped open immediately, as his body was thrown violently outside of the Shikaku. No, Shikaku screamed, I just came out, he screamed out, as he was sent sailing down towards the ground. Shikaku's body crumbled as the sand started to fall down everywhere. Naruto stood there in mid-air, looking down at Gaara who was falling. As Naruto looked down, wait, what the hell? Am I flat? The moment he said that, he started to fall. Damn it, he said, as a chain exploded from the center of his palm, erupting in a tree, as he swung on it and flipped and landed. Gaara collapsed right on his sand, looking really exhausted after undergoing that transformation. No, Gaara said as he looked around in fear, pure fear in his eyes, you could see it. I failed. Gaara then saw Naruto marching towards him. You, don't come near me, Naruto said. No, he screamed. I'm not gonna kill you, said Naruto. As Gaara looked at him. Why? How? What happened? How did you defeat me? As Naruto sighed. Listen, Gaara. I've noticed how you've been acting ever since we've met. You're just like me, but you're different in many ways. I learned about the reason for Jinchurikis, and I found out they were human sacrifices. But I never let that bother me. But it seemed like your Biju is not as good as mine. Because Naruto placed his hand on his stomach. Because the Kyuubi is very dear to me. Someone who have come and changed my life for the better. Because if it wasn't for her and a certain people, if she didn't contact me the way she did and acted like you, I believe that we would have went down the same path. How then? How are you this strong, said Gaara? People? You don't fight for anyone. Of course I don't. Because I am the only one. I am the only one to protect, Gaara said. To be stronger. No, that's where you're wrong. The way for you to get stronger, I once learned this from one of my friends, you can say she is. But although we met briefly, when you fight for your precious people, that is when you truly get stronger. Precious people? Yeah. And you have two of them, Gaara, who seem to stick with you no matter what, even if you threaten them. And I wouldn't want to kill you and take you away from them, because I can see that your siblings truly care about you. As a smiling came on Naruto's face. And I have my precious person as well. Well, I've gained a lot of them, but two of them are incredibly precious to me. The person that took me and took care of me. She's like an older sister, which I would gladly give my life for any day to protect. And not to mention my best friend. Yeah, she's the greatest. And Naruto came to a stop as he felt something. As he turned his head. He turned his head and looked around. Suddenly, Kankuro and Temari landed, but it wasn't them that Naruto was focusing on. What the hell? He heard Hinata. She was calling out to him. But where was she? Yamato was in the mindscape as he was sweating. This was going to be over soon and Naruto is going to return to the village. And yet still they had no idea what they were going to do. What they were going to say to him. As the Kyuubi was overgoing the same thing right now. Gaara, said Kankuro, as he regained consciousness a couple minutes ago. As Temari rushed over. As Naruto turned towards them, don't worry. Just go, said Naruto. Sasuke then landed. Let's end this, he said. But Naruto grabbed his hand. No, let them go. What? As he turned his head straight towards the academy roof. As Naruto's eyes became sharp. As there was a brief glow of one of his spells being activated. He could see far in the distance. As he could see, none other than Orochimaru. He saw the third Hokage holding on to something coming from Orochimaru's stomach and pulling it. What the hell? Naruto thought to himself. We have to go. As Naruto turned to Sasuke, come on! Just let them be. As Temari looked at him, you're letting us go? Temari, Kankuro, let's go, said Gaara. As Naruto looked back at Gaara one more time. Remember what I said, Gaara, as he went off. Sasuke following behind him. Meanwhile, Hayashi Hyuga was making his way. As he felt troubled, he had sent out Keo and a few others to search for his daughter. But yet, they haven't returned with anything yet. They haven't reported back to him. Hanabi is already home, and he had given them instruction to bring back Hinata as well. He was over there fighting off against a few Sound ninjas, but he wasted long enough. Despite acting the way he acts, he cares about Hinata and she has been making great changes and becoming stronger to become the real clan head. Meanwhile, Naruto was moving as fast as he could, as he didn't know what was. Naruto-kun. Naruto stopped. What's wrong? Sasuke asked. Go, said Naruto. I'll be right there. What? Just go, said Naruto. As Sasuke headed off. What the? Hinata? Naruto said as he couldn't see her but he could hear her voice. Hey, Yamato, Kyuubi, are you guys hearing that as well? He asked. Neither of them said anything. Hey, you guys, Naruto shouted. No, said the Kyuubi. What's wrong with you? Said Naruto. The way you're speaking is like something is wrong. What's going on? Yamato! Kyuubi, he shouted. As the both of them were silent for a few seconds. I don't know how to tell you this, kid. But if you go further, you're going to find out something that you won't want to find out. What do you mean by that? Said Naruto. Naruto-kun, I'm so sorry, said the Kyuubi. Sorry for what? Said Naruto. Naruto then saw an explosion happening off in the distance. I don't know what the hell is up with you two, said Naruto, as he went over toward the explosion, where he saw a large group of Sound ninjas, as they were all huddled around a small, blown up building, as some people was inside, hiding in shelter. Inside of the building was Kiba, with the dead Hinata lying on the ground. There was Shikamaru there as well, along with Ino and Sakura. They had come here after seeing what was going on, and they were able to get to this safe haven, but they were being surrounded right now. As they were pinned down, Shikamaru cursed as he was out of chakra, running low, and he wouldn't be able to perform his shadow possession jutsu. Another explosion as the sound ninjas were just taunting with them right now, throwing at kunai with the explosive tag. Alright, we had enough. It's time to finish them off. After all, by killing the smaller generations, they won't grow up to have any future. As the sound ninja started to engulf. Like hell you will, said Naruto as he leaped out. Naruto, said Sakura. As Naruto smashed his fist in one of Sound Ninja's face, the man body was sent still as he smashed right into the wall. Then Naruto jumped over. Hey you guys, Naruto said. He stopped. When he noticed Hinata just lying there. As he didn't feel anything. Naruto walked around. As Ino already had tears in her eyes. She was crying when she saw Hinata's body. Kiba, who tear marks were already streaming down his face. Even Sakura was crying. Shikamaru was the only one trying to keep his calm right now. Because he had to wait until this all was over. They couldn't focus on that right now. All they could do was bring her body somewhere safe for her to get a proper burial. As Naruto stepped forward, his eyes blank. The Kyuubi and Yamato tried to call out to him but they heard nothing. Naruto saw he couldn't even perform proper sentences. He leaned down as he placed a hand to her neck. He didn't feel anything at all. What's this? Said Kenji as he stepped forward. Is this reinforcements? You guys are wasting too much time. Let's kill them and move on. I already killed that Hyuga girl. You guys kill the rest of them. This is bad, said Sakura. The ground started to shake. Slowly at first. Until Konoha started to shake violently. House started to get tumbled down like a massive earthquake was ripping through the earth. The place was shaking, windows were breaking. As everyone had to come to a stop. Naruto backed to as he held on to his head. No, this can't be happening. This can't be happening, Naruto screamed. The moment he screamed out, power exploded from his body. That went straight up into the sky. The world started to shake at that moment. It wasn't just Konoha. At the hidden stone, Anki was in his office as the entire place was tumbling down. Buildings started to crack. It felt like the entire earth was being shaken by a vengeful god. At Kiri, the Mizukage was facing off against the rebels when the water started to rise up. He looked over. There was no one capable of using a water built like this. Was this natural? He said. As the tidal wave of water started to rise, the earth started to crack. Everyone in the entire world was alarmed. At the hidden rain, skyscrapers were being broken as people were running for their life. The leader of the Akatsuki was currently sitting down on the tongue of the statue. He got to his feet as a woman came behind him. What's going on? She said. The man looked out as he had no idea. He then looked up in the sky. There was a massive light going straight up. But that was not the crazy thing. The sky, the sun, it started to change. The sun became blood red as the entire earth started to quake. Meanwhile, green eyes snapped open as the girl that came here got to her feet as she felt the power. Oh my god, she said. This is bad. This is really bad. As she saw two other women in the house as they were on the ground, thrown off by the earth shaking. As the chaos was happening at Konoha, Hiruzen, who had just ripped away Orochimaru's arms and sealed them away, was slowly dying. This is bad. This is bad. That was all he could say in his final moments as Orochimaru was looking up, with sweat building on his brow dropping down. Because of fear, this was the same power he felt in the force of death, magnified by 1,000. Meanwhile, as all of the rookies were blown away from their spot, Kiba was still holding on to Hinata's body. Suddenly, everything froze. Like time got fractured itself. Something was coming. Something that the elemental nations was not ready for. These sound ninjas have just called a god. But this god was not coming here to bring peace. This god was coming here to bring pure death. But guys, if you enjoyed this episode right here, if you want the next part of this, or not to do, Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. And remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Unlock a Strange Power. And go ahead and enjoy that, guys. But for now, I'm out here. See you guys soon. Peace.